and then abstract problem solving in the neocortex, the frontal lobe, right?
Yes.
And the problem that I see with people is that they feel that a good pitch is where they try to inundate people with detail. I'm sure you've had the same experience, right? They think that if I call it the machine gun method, right? They're like, machine gun, come on, detail, right? Yeah, it's a bit like that, right?
Yeah.
In a 60-second space, they fit so many words and so many elements to what they do and who they are into such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And the reason for it, in my opinion, is that in their own brain, they know all the little nuances, all the little connections, all the little experiences that create the value behind what they have to offer.
Yes.
And they mistakenly believe that if I am able to convey all those little nuances on my audience, then they will see my value.
Yeah.
And that is the mistake, that they think that their value is in the detail. So effectively, going back to the metaphor of the three brains, they go from the neocortex down through to reptilian brain, hoping to elicit some sort of emotion to get them to make a decision.
That's right.
But the way that I believe it is that it's actually the opposite way coming up, that you have to bypass the gatekeeper, the reptilian brain, which is the survival mechanism in your brain, where you know how you walk down the street and you see something flash in your peripheral vision, your reflexes take over straight away and you're completely alert to it, right?
Yes.
And in the pitch situation, in the networking situation, people are basically doing this. They're like, all right, I've got some attention to give now. Look up, no, boring, turn away.
Yeah.
Look up, as I expected, turn away. Look up, too much detail, overload, look away. Shut down, let it go over your head. And that's what happens to me. Yeah,
you
get that.
What happens, yeah.
You laugh is because that's exactly the experience we have, right?
Yeah.
Is that that's not the way the brain works. The way that you need to go about it is actually to speak to the croc brain, which is very basic. You need to talk about truths. You need to have a great performance. You need to have that level of intrigue, right? The level of intrigue, that little bit of novelty, that little bit of excitement that gets people.
Yeah.
Now, the problem, however, is that people take the intrigue and novelty too far, and there's a reason why we have the word novelty attached to a negative connotation, right? It's because when novelty is overused, it becomes cliche. And when something becomes cliche, it actually reacts differently in our brain because it's all about that expectation. When something becomes cliche, it no longer meets our expectation, and again, our brain shuts off. Now, Oren Clough in his book highlights the fact that you can't just rely on intrigue, you have to rely on tension in order to grab attention. And a lot of people have a trouble with tension because they're really afraid of stepping on people's toes.
Yes.
And to me, that shows a lack of confidence in what they have to offer. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. It's definitely, I read Oren Clough's book, Pitch Anything, and he was definitely an amazing pitch person. I remember that example from the book where, you know, when you sort of, if you've ever done any cold calling or any interacting with any business, the receptionist is generally the person that stops you. And they kind of say, have a seat, you know, he'll be with you in a minute. And that's something which is called a beta trap, which is just an interesting jargon. Yeah, it's hilarious. And what Oren Clough did, I remember, is he went to sit down, he finally got through all that, and he went to sit down with the CEO of this huge company. They were millionaires, private jet and all that. And he sat down and he started talking, and they were ignoring him. They pretty much just weren't paying attention to what he was saying. The CEO was like on his phone, and you know, he was a busy person. And it was just like it was like so uncomfortable for him. So actually, the CEO got an apple. What did the CEO do? He got an apple. He had an apple, and he was eating it, and he was sort of looking out the window as he's listening to this guy pitch. Yeah. And so what Oren Clough did is he actually reached in, grabbed the apple off the guy, and took a bite out of it. And so this is what, you know, this is how much I'd be able to give you. And the guy was like, the guy was stunned. Like, who's the ball on this guy?
So is his assistants, right? They couldn't believe that he did something so audacious to change it up.
And what they did was it got the attention of the croc brain. Because, you know, for that moment they were like, and the assistants were like, oh my gosh, they're looking at each other going, what did he just do? And for that moment, bam, he had the power, he had the star power, and he had them in the palm of his hand. So that's the key to a good pitch is to get in there and really awaken the croc brain. And I like it because, you know, today's social media world, if you ever get on Facebook and you just notice, you look at your status and it's just like the what's it called, the news feed, and there's just if you've got any number of friends, there's hundreds of thousands of posts, all this kind of stuff. We've got the stimulation from our phones, from what's going on around in the outside world, social media, the internet. Everything is trying to get our attention. But the key is to get the attention of the croc brain, because the croc brain is like blocking everything out and only giving us the information that we need. So, like you said, the croc brain, the reptilian brain, was designed to help us fight, freeze, or flee. So we were in the jungle, with our little tribes, our hunter-gatherer tribes a few hundred years ago, and we'd be, maybe picking some fruit, and then we'd see the reeds or the bushes just go like this, and then our croc brain would go, and for that moment, all our attention would be focused. What is that? Is that a threat? Is that an enemy tribe, or is that a wild animal? And for that moment, we'd be focused on that bush. And then if a wild animal come out, then we'd be prepared to fight, freeze, or fly, or run. But if it was just a friend or one of the kids playing, we go, oh, okay, finally, what a relief. But the same in today's modern world, we've still got that reptilian brain, which still needs to be shocked in order to get attention. And if people don't know how to like with what you teach, if they knew what you were teaching, they could go to networking and activate people's croc brain. How often have you had a door-to-door salesman? I know when I get a door-to-door salesman, in my mind I'm going, how quickly can I get rid of this person? I mean, that's what's on my mind, and I'm thinking, oh, not now. But the best door-to-door salesman came to my door, and this is many years ago, and he just said, did you hear about the free gift?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the free gift? And I was like, huh? Free gift? What do you mean? He got me. He got my croc brain. He got my reptilian brain. He was like, free gift. And I was like, oh. And then I started talking. But if he just said, hi, I'm from such and such company, we're doing this, and I was like, oh, yeah, cool, I would be polite and accommodating and thank you, no, I'm not interested, thank you very much. But he just got me. He said, did you hear about the free gift? Did you receive the free gift yet? I was like, wow. So that's an example. I've often dwelled on that guy when I'm thinking about pitching and stuff. So tell us, how can people reach you, and how can people get involved with you, Eric?
Well, the best way to reach me, obviously, is through my Facebook page, because that has all my other details, such as my website. My branding is very simple. It's just my name, ericchan.com.au.
Beautiful.
And on Facebook, it's Eric Chan, the pitch specialist. And if you guys could like my page or drop me an email, all the details are on the page there. If you want to send me a direct email, it's just info@ericchan.com.au.
Outstanding, Eric. And just quickly in summary, what are the benefits that people can take away from being involved in this with you?
So the benefits that you can get from me is that, number one, I'll teach you how to complete a variety of pitches via scientifically based principles on how the brain receives messages. Okay, that's number one.
Awesome.
Number two, what separates me from a lot of other pitch or communication workshops or mentors is that I utilize the game and immersion theory that I learned from Hinton Swain's Frontier Academy, whereby I utilize simulated games in order to teach you the lesson about full body communication, because let's get real here. The words themselves, everyone's heard that percentage, 55% full body communication. I was at 38% tonality and 7% words. Now that's often a misquoted research study, but fundamentally it still highlights the three important elements of presentation, right? Body language, tone, and words. But once you get the words down pat, it's all about the performance. It's all about the congruent hand gestures to the words that you use. It's about the variation in tonality. It's about bringing out your message authentically, the way that you hear it in your mind, the passion that you feel in your heart, to be able to bring that out. And utilizing the game method and through the simulations that I create via the games, you learn those lessons viscerally, not just on a cerebral level, not where you just I'm sure we've all had that experience where we hear something from the presenter and we're like nodding, we're like, yeah, we pat ourselves on the back sort of how well we understand it. But then a week later, if it doesn't resonate with us, it's gone. But when you utilize the game method, it's so visceral. It's almost like your body remembers and it doesn't let your mind forget. And those game methods will push you to your absolute limit. I actually had somebody cry at one of my workshops, not in a negative way, but them just realizing what their boundaries were and having that moment of clarity regarding what was really holding them back. And that's what separates me. And then when you walk out of my workshop, you'll be more prepared to take that journey of becoming a true pitch and presenter, not just like everybody else who's just good at speaking, but a true presenter. That's what I offer on the table.
Wow, and really, that's awesome. And I know that people can find out about when your next workshops are coming up by visiting your Facebook page, The Pitch Specialist, Eric Chan, is that right? Eric Chan's Pitch Specialist? Yeah, outstanding. And I definitely will include a link in the description box of this video when it's uploaded. And I really want to just thank you, Eric, for coming on today. And I've seen you work and I've met you in person. And I just thought if there was someone I was going to interview in the first of this series, it'd be Eric, because you've actually got a YouTube channel as well, which you do. And you're a great speaker, great communicator. You dabble. And you've got a great following on that. And I just thought Eric's doing something different. He's an innovator. I like talking to innovators and definitely want to promote you and definitely want to get your name out there, Eric. I think you're really good. So if you're watching this video, by all means, check out the link below or search for Eric's contact details, or by all means, search on Facebook for Eric. Friend him. He's a great guy. I've met him in person. Awesome. I can highly recommend that you go to his workshop. It'll be a great investment of time and money. And well done. Thank you so much, Eric, for your time. I really do appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you so much, Roger. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I just can't wait to see where you take your business and your growth, because it's just amazing where you're going as well. I always see the achievements you have on your Facebook page, whether it be the testimonials or the competitive public speaking. I'm sure that we can learn from each other. But thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I know that we'll be able to, share some time again soon.
Yeah, definitely, Eric. Thank you so much. And this is Roger McDonald from rogermcdonald.net. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and by all means, subscribe, click like, and stay in tune, because I'm going to be interviewing more movers and shakers and innovators in the Australian and worldwide personal self-development industry in the days and weeks to come ahead. So thank you very much. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, everybody.